Can you hear me?
Timmy,
Is it working?
it's working. We're
Cool.
on. We're live.
We're live? Great.
And, you know, we usually call this, not usually, we call this coffee and cameras, but this morning you had a tea.
I did.
Can you tell me about your tea, please? Because that
Oh,
was
God.
delicious.
I don't think we have enough battery for that, mate. But I had an oolong from Miss Catty, but the cafe is over there. H, you can tell them what the cafe is if you like.
Absolutely. Chinatown Country Club. Lovely people there. Not sponsored. Not sponsored in this
Not
video.
yet, anyway.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, anyway.
But Tim, actually, you know what? Let me get the introduction out of the way. Besides the tea, that was
Sure.
beautiful. What's your name?
Yeah, my
And,
name's Tim Souter. I'm a photographer in Sydney. That's
Awesome.
pretty much it.
And what do you got in your hand?
I have a little X100V, a very hot ticket item at the
That's
moment.
worth about, what, 10 grand now?
Yeah, something like that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out with me, man. Where do you want to go this morning? Which way do you want to head?
Let's head left and see what we find.
Let's go.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. All right. So, I know this isn't your hood, so to speak. I would have loved to come out to Parramatta, which is where you usually shoot. But I appreciate you being out in the city.
That's okay.
When you're in the city, where do you usually go to take photos?
Sure. I mean, like most of us, I do tend to head up and down George Street a fair bit, but
Yeah.
I've been trying to scale back on that and find different areas.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
No doubt we'll probably end up there again.
George Street at some
and that's fine. But yeah, no, I just, wherever the light's good, I'll try and go there,
Fantastic.
basically.
Is there anything in particular about, and we talk about light all the time on street photography, right? It's probably the most important thing. Well, it gives us life. That's the way I see it.
It does, yes.
Gives us
it
great
gives us
photographs.
photos. Yeah.
Yes.
We can't take them without it, so.
Is there any particular, not shape of light, but is there a, you know when you look at light, like for me,
Yeah.
I'm trying to come up with the right words to ask you this question. I love when the light comes in harshly at an angle. Do you have any particular?
Yeah, well, it depends what I'm shooting, right? So
Okay.
if I'm doing like high contrast, black and white, sort of those crisp shadow edges and stuff like
Yes.
that, then I'm the same. I like that nice, I mean, midday sun can sometimes even be the best for that,
Right.
when it comes in at a sharp angle. But this morning when I was on the way here, every morning in where I am, there's some nice reflected light off office buildings, which can be quite nice. All the pools of light on the floor and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's dependent on what I want to shoot.
Gotcha. And we were talking about this a little bit before we came out here. You were talking how you don't feel like you have a specific style, which is a subject that's come up.
My style is no style.
No style. Can you talk me through that a little bit? Tell me about, you know, when you're out, do you have a thought around what you want to work on before you leave the house? Or do you go out?
I tend to, you know, it's the old Bruce Lee quote, you know, be like water, right? Like just go with the flow and,
Yeah.
and see what you feel like taking photos of at the time.
Okay.
Today the light's pretty nice, so hopefully we find some nice pools of light and I can get some black and white stuff.
Awesome.
Sort of what I'm looking forward to. If not, see what happens.
Okay. Well, speaking of black and white, do you set your camera screen to black and white when you're shooting black and white, or do you shoot in color and convert later? There it is, black and white. Love it.
Black and white. And
Love
I
it.
also use it through the EBF as well, so
EBF as well.
the whole process, all the way through.
So, curious question. So you do a mix of color and black and white, right?
Yes, I sure do.
What helps you decide on the day what you want to work on,
I mean, I feel
as opposed to like
Black-
color or black and white?
black
That's
and
what I
white's like my default now, I guess
Okay.
you'd say. Light's nice over here. I'll probably get some
mean. Sure.
photos here.
Let's go with that.
Color, it has to be special. There's just got to be something magic about it. Usually golden hour.
Golden hour, okay.
I'll switch. Or if an outfit's nice, I'll change it in post because I'm shooting in RAW. Yeah, it just really depends.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense.
And funnily enough, we ended up on George Street.
I know. Well, who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
George Street is.
You can't fault it, right?
Beautiful,
Like,
no,
I mean,
it's
even
just-
even the corner that we're on, how many street photographers do you find there of an afternoon,
Just-
right? Like, it's
Just hanging out in this corner,
hanging out.
which I tried to pan to, but I probably did a pretty bad job.
That's right, you can do another one. All good.
George Street it's a beauty place. It's a beautiful place.
It is
for sure.
lovely. So maybe a couple here, but the light does look nicer and brighter down there too, so we'll see. See where we want to end up. Let's just go
Wanna
now.
go?
We're not going to get run over by a tram.
Let's hope not.
That's not on the video today. Let's hang here for a second. Have a look.
The challenge is I'm probably putting a lot of attention on you.
A little bit, but that's okay.
And do you
I don't
think
mind.
people are gonna-
I'll run away a little bit, maybe.
I'll hide over here, let you
I'll
do your
hide
thing.
over here.
I think the audience know what we're talking about. You either stay in one place and you wait it out, or you keep moving
that's
around
it.
until you find what you're looking for.
I don't know. I find, like, at least for me anyway, recently, waiting it out actually is a lot more advantageous
Okay.
because a lot of people already see you in that spot. They're going to do like one of three things. They're either going to walk through your scene, they're going to go around you,
Yeah.
or they're going to pose exactly where you want them. So it's advantageous, right?
Is there anything in particular you're looking for now as we walk by?
I'm just looking at this patch of light
Patch of
here.
light right there. And that gentleman just kindly decided to
that.
step into it for you, right? It's very kind of him.
All nice. You know, he did it just for me. I planned that.
Absolutely.
Friend of mine, long time.
He's a hired actor.
Hired actors throughout this entire thing. Yeah.
My production value is just going through the roof. Hired actors.
Buying me
I
tea.
control the sun.
Jeez.
Control the sun when it comes
that's
out.
it. He's already comped out all of the reflectors. You can't actually see them, but they're there.
Of course, George Street's a little bit loud as
It
we're
is.
walking
Sorry
by.
about that.
So Tim, some of your work I've seen is studio work as well. So
Yeah.
Can you talk me through what that's like as opposed to street photography?
Studio work's fantastic. It's like the complete opposite of street, which is why I love it, right? So street is very spontaneous, and there's less control,
Of course.
all that good stuff. And studio is the complete opposite of that. I can shape the light how I want it, put it where I want it. Usually I shoot in much larger depths of field, so it's going to be like f/16, f/22, things like that. So it's the complete opposite. So when I don't feel like doing one, I'll do the other. And same goes for color as well, honestly. It's the same thing.
Nice. Let me actually take a step back. So what got you into photography? Because the way I'm looking at this now, I'm going, well, Tim's got his street stuff.
I do.
And he's got his studio stuff. Yes. So talk me through a little bit. Let's take us back back in the day when you were kind of, I guess, starting out in this field. And
Sure.
tell us what was going on in your mind.
So it actually starts quite a while ago. I always had some kind of a camera in the family growing up,
Yeah.
and just random snapshots on film back then.
Okay.
Not that I knew anything about settings or
Yeah.
how the film worked or any of that in my younger years. Eventually, I did high school photography, where I had to learn in a darkroom back then. So
Okay.
I do know how to do it all still.
Nice.
The smell of developer is one that you don't soon forget. What about after that? Then I did a TAFE photography course. That's when I started to learn all of the stuff like lighting and all that good stuff, which unfortunately I didn't finish that course, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And many, many years later, after shooting, I've shot a few brands, Canon, now I'm on Fuji, things like that. One day I was like, oh, you know what? I want to shoot in the studio again. It's been a while. So I sort of bought my kit that I have, and let's head over here,
Sure.
And bought the kit that I have, and basically it all sort of came flooding back in my memory, like, oh, I need to put these lights here, the settings like this, and never forgot it, I guess, and so it came back.
Awesome. Okay. And so that's your studio work. I mean, were you doing street at that time as well?
No.
Or was it just
Street's relatively fresh, probably the last 8 years. I mean, I shot like
did you say 8 years?
something like that.
Okay.
But also when I've traveled and sort of taken travel photos that ended up being street ones as well, I just didn't know they were that at the time, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So one of the examples is recently, after the Phil Penman exhibition that a bunch of us went to, I posted one of my New York photos from
Yeah,
a
I remember that
similar
one.
vantage point that he posted
Yes.
one of his photos. So
Yes. How dare Phil steal one of your vantage points? That's not very nice of him, is it?
yeah, thanks Phil, good work.
Sorry, sir. and he came to Sydney and stole our vantage points as well. It's just not very nice. Phil, if you're watching this, I doubt you are, but if you're watching this, just stop, Phil. You know, you're coming to our cities, you're taking our vantage points, showing off your skills. It's not very
Being a
nice.
nice guy, jeez. How dare you?
This is a good bachelorette, isn't it? Oh, there you go.
Let's make this guy go this way.
Hopefully I don't ruin the scene for you, Tim. There it is.
So, I mean, that's an example of what I mean. I move to where I want to frame it first, and he comes into the frame as opposed to me moving to him.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're prepared before he comes in there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you have to try and be observant, which I'm not always the best at, because sometimes I've got headphones in and I'm in the zone and, you know.
And right now I'm trying to talk to you and get you to talk to me, and not the easiest
That's exactly
to be focused.
But that's all right, you know. Well, I'm sure we'll both get some good footage today. Or photos in my case. I don't shoot video. Not yet anyway.
Not yet, anyway. Chase you up. So did you feel like you got what you wanted from that scene? And
yeah. And I mean, the one that I turned around and got in the Apple window was a nice surprise, right? Like,
Yes,
that's what I meant
absolutely.
about observation. I didn't actually see that shot until I turned around. You might have already seen it, so.
So would you, in this case, did you look at your screen to see if you were happy with that photo, or did you kind of...
I'll check at the end of the day. Like, sometimes I'll make a mental note. It's like, oh, you know, that photo, it's going to be the one. But like Ben said in your last interview, or whenever you watch this, BGS Funk's interview, sometimes you just don't always get it.
Yeah.
And it can be disappointing, but, you know, it just gives you drive to go out and do it again the next day. And
Absolutely, man.
hopefully get that banger another day.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I feel like when you're talking about focus and being in the moment, I feel like if you start looking at your screen, that next perfect moment's just gonna walk
Pass
right
you
by
by.
you. Yeah.
Exactly.
So might as well just be in the moment, enjoy the art.
Yeah.
This is a good spot. You like it? Ah. Another fellow photographer on the street. Hello.
It's a good day for it.
Absolutely.
I just like the patterns that are coming through this
Yeah,
window.
the
are quite
trains,
nice.
right.
And not wanting to get run over by trains is also good. Trams.
Absolutely. I have a family to support. I do not plan on dying yet.
No, not even close. I got too many years for pictures to take.
Let me see if I can do a little bit of a pan and show
Yeah, go
people. I hope that my terrible
I'll have a look.
filming skills. There it is. That's the light. Look at that. Just needs someone to walk through it. Would you stand where you are, Tim, usually, if this was a busier morning?
Because then this way I can see people coming from 3 different directions.
Yeah.
So it's pretty quiet at the moment. I don't think many people will come yet, but that's okay. Sometimes, like, I don't know, it's not street photography, it's more abstract, I feel, but I don't mind shots of actually pools of light as
Yeah.
well. It's something
Beautiful,
I
isn't
actually
it?
take quite a few photos of. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. So talk me through, we talked about you don't feel like you have a specific style. Obviously you do your studio work, which is different to street.
Yeah, it's
but-
different again entirely.
Yeah, and then you're talking about your street, which sometimes you do color, sometimes you do black and white, and you said that you don't feel like you have a style. Do you feel like you have multiple styles? Do you feel like you just kind of go with whatever makes you happy on the day?
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Yeah?
I think that's what, you know, photography's about at the end of the day. If you're making art and you want to feel good about it, you know, you've got to do what makes you happy. So, well, you try to anyway.
Yeah, happiness
Doesn't
is pretty
always
important,
work
right?
out that way, unfortunately, but you try again.
That's the beauty of this art, right? You just got to keep going and going and going. And I'm pretty confident. I don't want to talk on behalf of, let's say, Phil Penman. That's his name has come up. I'm pretty confident he'd probably agree with the statement of every day you just get a little bit better, a little bit more. The pursuit of perfection. Ooh, yes, that's good.
I might have to wait here for a little while.
Camp it out a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. Or not.
Another hired
Maybe
actress
another
walking
hired
through.
actress, that's it.
Walking right
I
through the
swear
lights.
none of this is planned.
Yeah, sure, Tim. Sure. You got all your friends to come out this morning to help us out with the lights?
Hey, but whether or not the shots turn out to be any good, I don't know.
I'm sure
I won't
they will
know
be
until the end of the
great.
day. So we'll see.
This is a really nice. Again, I'll try my best to do another pan for,
Go for it.
people at home.
But I'm noticing a lot of things. So I've got this patch in front of me, obviously.
Yeah.
Over to my right, I've got the nice dappled light with the leaves on the sandstone over there. In front of the fountain, there's nice light going across horizontally. I'll probably end up there because it actually looks really, really nice.
Absolutely.
Might even swap the colour for that, we'll see.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Well, I mean, there's been some colourful subjects walk through there, so.
For sure.
But I mean, shooting on RAW, I can always change it later anyway if I want to. So
Spot on.
that's the good
People
thing
watching
about
at home, this is shot on an iPhone HDR, so it's giving you a lot more detail in the shadows. It is a lot more contrasty than you're probably seeing at home. So that patch of light right there where I'm pointing at is very bright, and around it is fairly dark. I think the iPhone's just giving you a little bit too much information in the shadows, as it does for HDR stuff. But
Yeah.
just to give you some context if you're watching at home.
Let's see if these guys behind me walk into the patch or not. I don't know. Maybe.
Do you feel like standing in the same place maybe sometimes deters people? I think you mentioned this earlier, deters people from kind of going to where you want them to go, or do you?
Sometimes, maybe like 30 or 40% of the time. Other times, I reckon you can place yourself so they're going to walk a certain way
Okay.
as well. So back when we were on the previous corner near the Apple store, that's why I put myself there, because if he was going to come in, he'd have to come past
Right.
where my frame was.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was the other way, he would have just moved past. So
Fair enough.
yeah, it doesn't seem like this particular patch is getting too much action.
It is a Sunday morning for people at home. We do these on Sunday mornings, so it's not a super busy.
No, it's not like it's lunchtime on a weekday when
No,
all
we may
the
have.
business people are
Yeah.
out, and
No,
it's
thank
actually
you.
a really cool time to shoot here too.
Do you like to? I mean, okay, let's talk about that then, because I don't particularly enjoy being in a crowded area. But it sounds like you might, or maybe not. Maybe a mix of both.
So, when I was in Japan, you're forced to be in it, and so I'm going to open up to f2.8 here.
Okay.
See if I can't put her in a nice pool of light. And I'm trying to wait for her to be the only one in the frame as well. About there. One more.
Hopefully we're not
Perfect.
making her feel uncomfortable, but
I reckon that's got
that's
it.
my introvert thinking. So you were saying when you were in Japan,
Yeah, so when I was in Japan shooting some pictures, crowds are inevitable. You're getting squished and you fall in love with it.
okay,
Or at least I did anyway. Shooting on a 35 equivalent on this,
Yeah.
it was hard to get everyone in. But I can't get used to 28. I've tried so many times now.
yeah, fair enough. Okay,
It's tough, surprisingly. At least for me it is anyway.
okay. So would you say you prefer a bigger crowd over a day like this, or?
I mean, I think it was Ben that said it, or BGS, that he sort of likes that solo, one person, small
Yeah,
in the
okay,
frame
yeah.
kind of, and that is more advantageous if you're shooting a wide angle, I feel. Because it shrinks them down even more. So 35 is good for here. It's still giving me enough reach to the other side of the street.
Right.
A 50 I'd be able to frame someone without the road, probably.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I do have a 50mm in my bag, which can't go on this, but it can go on another camera that I have here. So if I feel like changing it up later on, I might get that camera out and we'll see how we go.
okay.
But for the time being, it's staying in the bag.
So
And that's another Fuji as well, so
you and Ben both travel with two cameras.
yes.
Tell me about that then. What's the thought process there? Do you
Of the other camera, or?
Yeah, maybe just around when do you feel like you want to get the other one out? Do you start the day with the one in particularly, and do you switch out in a day?
Oh, so largely I will shoot street with the X100 because the other one is quite heavy. I mean, I'll be upfront about that.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
So more than likely, when you see me, I'll have a much smaller bag on in the city than this. This is the bag that I bring out when I have that other camera with me.
Gotcha, okay.
So usually it's just X100 and away we go. So, if you want to know a fun fact about street in Sydney, I might have this wrong, so guys don't come after me too much. I think this street that we're walking up to is where Trent Park got his famous bus shadows photo at.
Let's see if I can do another pan.
It was either that one or the one we just crossed, but I'm pretty sure it's this one.
Martin Place.
Yeah,
this is where Superman. Which one was that? One of the Supermans was shot here. That
Matrix was shot here.
Matrix as well, yeah.
Matrix was shot here. I didn't know Superman was shot here.
And Trent Parker potentially had his famous...
The bus silhouettes.
Yeah.
I'm sure he can put it in the video in the corner or something.
Yeah, I'll try to find it, put it in the video, that photo. So, fun story about Trent. I'm really new to the street. I didn't know of him, believe it or not, until just a few months ago.
Let's just over this
Good
way.
old YouTube pulled up a video of Trent stuff, and I just was blown away by his work. So
that's how it goes.
Try to find that photo for you guys and put it in the video. If you don't know Trent, like I didn't know him, you should. He's a legend, incredible photographer. I'll put that.
Yeah.
I'll put the name in the description anyway.
Another cool thing about around here and all the construction in the city is they're putting up like classic black and white photos of the city as well.
Yeah.
Which is always nice to see.
There it is.
See how this light is here.
Old Sydney right there in photos.
He's walked away from me,
this is
so
very
he's not
famous
framing me.
place. Oh, I lost Tim. Hey Tim, where are you going?
I saw the light here and I might swap the color for it, so.
Sounds good. You send me 1 minute to look at photos and then you walk the other way.
I know, I'm sorry.
Tricky Tim.
That's me trying to get all my paid actors in without him noticing. So this I like.
This is a really good spot.
Nice bit of light there. The orange is always really good.
I'll do
so
another pan.
Give that a second. So I'll shoot this one on color. Let me.
And your paid actor is coming through. Well, good timing, Tim. Mate, could I borrow some of your paid actors for my shots, please? He's focused
there
now.
We go.
He's ignoring me.
I didn't actually hear what you said. What did you say, Kumar?
I said, there comes your paid actors again already.
Yeah.
Can I borrow them for one of my shoots, please?
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah.
Let's.
That actually worked out really well. Like literally, as soon as you walked up, two people.
Trust me, it's never this good. Usually, it's only because we're recording.
It's the positive reaffirmation. I believe in that. I genuinely believe in that.
And so I tend to shoot on the extremes of color and black and white, I guess, or at least I've been told that.
Okay.
So I'll shoot like in Acros film simulation on the red filter, so it's that super, high contrast and stuff like that. But when I swap to color, usually I'll put it on Velvia, so it's quite rich, saturated. Not so great in the studio. I'll change it then, because you don't want your skin tones to be too orange. But for this one, I put it on classic chrome, which I sort of refer to as the black and white of the color film simulations, because it's so desaturated. It's not neutral. It's got like a cool tone, but I'll probably warm it up a bit later in post.
We'll pop that in the video for people to see as well.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Let's get going. Crossing the street?
Yep.
Let's do it.
See if we can't mosey down this way.
When I walk through here?
Walk through the shot we were just taking.
I know, man. This light, amazing light. Wow.
It is nice. You can't not enjoy it.
Today is not as cold as last Sunday.
I'm glad about that.
Yes, my hands are very happy at the moment.
So
I did bring gloves this morning just in case.
That's it. I mean, I often make the joke saying that my cameras are sun activated. I don't like to come out in the rain. I don't like to come out when it's cold. I mean, I will, but it's on a day like today, I have to, right? Like
have to go
it's
out.
perfect. So
It is. We talked about happiness, right? We're talking about photography being in happiness. So if
Yes.
you're miserable in the cold, if you're miserable in
Yeah,
the rain, like what's
yeah.
the point of being out? I mean, pushing your creativity is one thing.
yeah, of course, right? Like, but you can't. I mean, you can force it, but I don't think you should have to.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
if you're not in the mood to shoot, you're not in the mood to shoot.
I
That's,
absolutely
you know,
agree. It's an art form. It's happiness. It's
The
it's
vibe.
pleasure. It's meditation. And if you're really pushing yourself outside of that feeling, I don't know. Let me see if I can go up.
Sydney can go up.
Show everyone that light off the building. I don't think the gimbal's going to go. No, there we go.
There you go.
Again, HDR is probably not doing it justice.
My paid actors are back. Hang on. Missed it.
Nice.
Missed it.
Nice little.
Missed it. Missed it. Missed
Did
it.
you? Oh.
That's okay. I'll
Seemed
adjust.
like you got it, but maybe you did.
I'll adjust. I tend to shoot in aperture priority the most,
Yeah.
or manual in the studio, obviously.
Okay.
Because you have to synchronize with the lights
Yeah.
and stuff. But recently, I've actually just been shooting in auto. Like,
Isn't that freeing,
I've
though?
I've stuck it in auto here on like -1 exposure compensation. Depends how dark I want my shadows.
Yeah.
And then just
Boom.
have at it.
And while we're crossing, we talked about. I asked this question of everyone. Are you an introvert or an extrovert, Tim?
Oh, I'm an introvert. 100
Introvert.
Well, I'm an introverted extrovert. I mean, an ambivert? I don't know. Is that a thing?
ambivert,
Omnivert,
yeah,
whatever it
that's
is.
That's it.
So I can go out and have fun sometimes. Like last night was fantastic. We
Yeah.
had the print meetup, of
Yeah.
course. Always lovely seeing so many people there. I think I found another spot to shoot.
It's a really nice batch of light here as well.
That's it. Paid actors.
Right. Killing it with the paid actors.
How's that for killing it with paid actors? That's
a
all
beauty.
right. I like that.
It's a beauty. You
That
got
can
that
s-
one.
That can stay. I might try for one more with some light on someone's face instead, though.
Okay.
Silhouettes aren't always my thing.
Maybe I'll
but
come hide on this side, so
That's all right.
a little bit less
I think
attention
we've
on
got
you.
some coming too. I'll even use the flippy screen for you.
The flippy screen. What's that? What's that? That's a new concept to me. I don't know what that means.
Here we go. Here we go. Pardon me, I had to clear my throat there.
Let's see what we got, Tim.
So I'm actually taking a few photos
Hoping
while
I'm
I
not
frame up.
distracting his shots.
Might have got it. I think they were too close. So
Yeah?
I'll have to back it up again. I didn't frame it how I wanted, so
Okay.
we'll try again. We've got some
Sure.
more people coming.
I'll try to.
I
think I was maybe-
I'll keep it chill and sort of try and keep the camera low key.
I'll
It's
just stand
hard,
over here.
but
Hopefully, they won't see me with my gimbal in my
yeah,
hand.
you're filming the other way. Why would they even know?
Exactly.
It's me that's being obvious, unfortunately. So just metering for the highlights like normal. And waiting for them to walk into the frame. There we go.
And I hope
That should
we
be
got-
okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. So usually I'm on center weighted, but for a shot like that where I want it like pitch black, I'll put it on spot and just
Spot metering.
let it fall away.
Nice. Very nice.
And I mean, modern digital cameras are so good now anyway that
know, right?
it's crazy.
I know.
Like on the other camera that I have, you can pull like 5 stops out of the shadows or something crazy like that. I've never had to, but,
That's
but
a lot of
it's
recovery.
there,
Yeah.
right? Like it's
That's
there
insane.
to be used. And Fuji, if you're listening, please put highlight weighted priority metering in these cameras. That would be fantastic. All right, so I'll swap to color for this. Nice Velvia.
Oh, cyclist. Oh,
Nah, I want it with just the tree. Minimal. So I'll hold it here with my focus peaking on and wait. If that bus could leave, that would be fantastic. And another one's going to pull in front of me in a second
no,
too.
don't do it.
That's all right. I'll wait.
Okay, Tim, give me
And we're
a
back.
30-second break to my hand so I can rest. But we also found where he wants to go. So where are we going, Tim?
So we'll see when we get there. I don't want to give away my
Oh,
secrets
it's a
just
surprise. Okay, okay.
yet. Yeah.
I like surprises.
Hopefully the light's there. It should be. It's pretty bright today, so
It's very bright.
we'll see.
Tim,
Yes.
what's one thing that scares you in life?
Oh God. That's being asked that question. No. One thing that scares me in life.
Let me give you an example. So if someone asked me that
please.
question, I'd say fear of not being successful. That is
Oh,
one of
I
my
mean,
biggest fears. in
Okay,
life.
cool. Like if we're doing like that, then
Not like fear of drowning. I'm not
if
talking about that. Sorry.
If we're going down that road, then
not
can
talking
I
about.
swear on here? 'Cause
Please don't.
No, I won't. I'll keep it YouTube friendly. But imposter syndrome is a huge thing.
Okay, yeah.
I think a lot of us have it. I
Absolutely.
certainly have it.
I've had it many times.
A friend of mine, Sean from Melbourne, and I used to call it the artist's curse.
The
It was
artist's curse.
a bit more of a fancy way of saying imposter syndrome.
Yes.
He's dabbling in music at the moment, one of my best mates. He shot street for a little while, photography for a long time. But we've talked about that at length, and I'm sure I'm not the only photographer to
Sure
suffer
you're
from
not.
it.
No, I'm not only in the field of photography, but in any field, really.
Yes. Well, any creative field, almost certainly, yeah.
Would you be able to explain to people what that is, if they don't know, if they haven't heard of it that term
Yeah,
before?
sure. So I think of it, I mean, look, we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to other people as
Yes.
artists. We should be trying to do our own thing.
Yes.
But it's inevitable that we will.
Yes.
There's people we look up to. There's
Yeah.
people we draw inspiration from.
Absolutely.
We can't help but compare ourselves to those people.
Of course.
And when you don't measure up, you end up thinking that you're shit. Pardon my French. You can bleep that.
You French. I don't know
And
that.
yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Okay, fair enough. Would you have any advice for someone who might be feeling that way at the moment or going through those kind of
Sure.
emotions?
Just try something different.
Okay.
Like that's when that could have even been a trigger for shooting black and white potentially, I don't know. But yeah, I just try and change my style up, or I'll try something new just to sort of get out of that negative headspace.
I like
Or I'll
that.
stay at home and have some tea and not think about photography for a while. Whatever you need to do to, alleviate it.
Fair enough. Thank you for that.
That's all right.
Appreciate you opening up and sharing.
That's what we're here for, right?
Exactly. Exactly. We're here to get people to
Share their deepest, most inner secrets.
absolutely the people watching
No,
at
that'd
home.
terrify people. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. Vulnerability is important, right? I mean, you're talking about comparing potentially yourself to somebody else, and there might be people out there who are looking up to somebody else at the moment and just going, hey, you're not alone. This is
Yeah.
very normal. It's typical to go through these sort of feelings, to feel like you don't belong, to feel like that you don't know what you're doing, or you're crap at what you're
exactly.
doing. It will pass, right? It'll
Yeah.
take some time.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's an interesting one, right? Like, sorry, this is probably really bright on me at the moment.
It's okay.
It's an interesting one. So, photography, street photography, right? Obviously, you're going to have those people that you look up to. But you have to remember at the end of the day, we're all just people. We're going to hang out. The large majority of us are probably pretty cool to talk and, ask people questions and all that. We're not all... No, I'm not going to say that. I'll keep that one in my head. But, all it takes is a bit of a leap, which is hard for introverts, I know, because I am one. But you have to sort of try and step out of that comfort zone and talk to people, and it does get more comfortable, and certainly
Oh my
with
God,
events
yeah.
like last night,
Yeah.
that would really help, I think.
Yeah. for
Because
sure.
you come to realize that it's like, oh, I'm surrounded by all these really cool, really talented people that do the exact same thing that I do. Well, not exact same, but photography.
Photography.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, it just relaxes you, and you realize this is actually a really cool thing to be a part of.
It is. Yeah.
All that good stuff.
And we're back with a new
Hello, YouTube. Welcome back.
with a new camera and Tim's neck. Tim, what do you got there for us?
It's medium format camera.
Medium
remember?
format camera. What does
Yeah.
that mean in in English?
It's got a big old sensor on it.
Big old, beautiful sensor
Yes,
on there with massive files.
Massive, yeah, massive files. You wanted to ask me about fear. It's running out of hard drive space, mate. That's what my real fear is.
Running out of hard drive space, I like that.
No, hard drives are quite cheap, fortunately. So I've just spotted the jacket just over there in the color. So in the light rather. So I'm gonna get a color shot of that.
Go for it.
But usually, when it's like midday-ish, you've got people coming out and sitting down here having lunch.
Yeah.
From the building, I assume. So yeah, it's usually a bit more busy than this. So I don't know how long we'll hang here. And the light just sort of sweeps massively across. I've got a few shots that I could give you to show you from
absolutely.
other times I've been here.
Love that. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just get this shot first. We're shooting on 2.8. Get that nice depth of field. There we go. And I'll get one in black and white as well. Let's see.
What made you think to switch to black and white now?
The contrast is quite nice
Okay.
because you've got the nice white plastic in the background. You've got the railing highlight.
Right.
You've got the light on the jacket. I just think it'll separate really nicely as well.
Okay.
So we'll see. It might not, but you don't know until you try.
Tim, while you're doing that, what inspires you, whether it's in life or whether it's in photography or curious music?
A few things.
Yeah.
Other photographers is a big one, obviously.
Okay.
But I watch a lot of movies, so I like to say film.
Film inspires you?
Yeah.
Is it the storytelling? Is it the cinematography?
I mean, it's. I follow a lot of cinematographers on Instagram as well, but it's a mix. I mean, a good story is always going to be fantastic, but movies are a visual medium first and foremost, right? And obviously audio as well. But I feel the mix of the two really can stir emotions as much as a photograph. Sometimes more, frankly. But I'm still not going to record reels. Promise you, YouTube, no reels ever. No, I might be convinced eventually. We'll see.
Just do it, Tim. Just do it.
Go to the dark side. Right? So now I just noticed that there's a mop there as well. So I kind of want to get a different.
Do a bit of abstract work here.
Yeah, different angle here. Yeah, there we go. That's not bad. And get a slightly brighter one as well.
So
this is what we spend the big bucks on for the fat sensor, you know, so you can take photos of mops and jackets. That's that's what it comes down to.
Oh, why not? Why not?
I'll print it as a billboard, Jesse Marlowe style, nice and huge.
Are you gonna do it legally or illegally, like Jesse does?
Oh, that's we shouldn't talk about illegal things on YouTube. We don't do illegal things. No.
How dare I?
I certainly wouldn't do things like explore abandoned buildings, or I'd perish the thought. I would never do a thing like that. That actually is something that I used to photograph quite frequently.
Really?
And out west, you do get a little bit of it.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of alluding to a project that I have that I've been shooting photos for about probably this year, which I won't give away anything about. Basically, I don't think it's there yet. It probably won't be for a little while. But yeah, there's something tentative that I've always got in the back of my mind. It's quite local to where I am. And yeah, sort of see how it goes, I guess.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for the tease.
That's okay. Anytime.
I was being sarcastic, but thank you. It's just. So we've talked to you about what inspires you, and you talked about cinematography and the art of visual storytelling. Is there anything else? Let's say when you go, do you ever go through a slump, like just don't feel like going out of the house?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Is there anything that kind of helps you overcome that?
So it's a tough call.
Yeah.
Again, like we're talking about with weather, we had rain, for a few weeks back for a long while, and I just sort of stayed inside, kept it low key. And eventually I was like, right, I just need to get out of my own head. I need to get out of this house that I've been staying in and just get out and shoot something. I didn't get any good photos that day, but the main thing is I did get
You did get out.
right?
Perfect.
And it does matter.
Perfect. Okay.
Sorry, I've just seen some traffic cones.
So what, sorry?
The traffic cones. So I'll
Traffic
try for a
cones.
bit of a Jesse
Okay, Jesse Marler.
inspired
Let's,
shot, right? I don't know if it'll be anywhere near as good as him. I don't want to compare myself. I'm not that good.
Comparison is the killer of joy.
That's exactly it. I couldn't have put it better myself. So typically this is a studio camera, but you can get quite nice shots. The only thing that I don't have with this yet is the equivalent of a 35mm lens. So this
Gotcha.
is a 50, and then I've got an ultra wide. So I sort of am missing that
Kind of in between.
same
shot.
focal length
Yeah.
as on my smaller camera.
Gotcha.
But like for headshots and portraits and all that good stuff, I've got like longer lenses, and I've tried shooting street with those. It's not easy, so it's not something I'll do all the time, and it's certainly a lot heavier to carry those lenses around. So
Is that important to you?
This is one of the many spots that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I say that I've only come here once before this, but yeah, the construction's interesting. You've probably got people who normally sit down on their lunch breaks and things like that. Sorry, I've just seen something. I'll see if I can get it without my shadow.
While you're doing that, you were talking about heavier lenses, heavier cameras.
Yes.
Is that something that, having a light portable camera, obviously you have one.
Yes, I do.
Is that important to you?
Nah.
Not
You
really?
shoot straight with anything.
Okay.
I mean, in respect to keeping my back in good health, it's probably better to shoot on the smaller one. But
Awesome.
so they're both, mirrorless cameras, so they're lighter already than what I used to carry around. That's for sure.
Fair enough.
Which is sort of a full Canon DSLR
Oh yeah,
kit.
the classics.
And it did fit in the bag, but I would, be walking like this at the end of the day.
With a big limp.
Limping around, yeah.
Fair
Which
enough.
is not great. Where should we go?
Is there anything else that you want to chat about, or should we wrap it up?
What inspires you?
What inspires me?
What are you hoping to get out of this? What we're doing, or future videos as well, obviously. And,
That's a great question. Look, when people ask me questions in these videos, I always go, it's about you, so I don't want to talk about me too much, but I'll share this one thing. And I shared it with you vaguely before we came out. We talked about who I'd like to interview for these, right? And I said I don't ever want to interview. Wow, thank you for the banging. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't want to interview famous, I'm quoting photographers, because I feel like they have enough spotlight. I feel like they've got a big enough reach, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's because they're ambassador for, let's say,
brand
Leica or a Fujifilm or any brand. Like, they've got a large following. They've been interviewed on many podcasts. They've probably been interviewed on other channels that are a lot more popular than my channel. And their story's been heard many, many times. So
Sure.
my hope, my desire out of these is putting the spotlight on you, putting it on Ben, E, anyone who is willing to come and share
and do
their
it.
biggest fears, share their life experiences, because I feel like what I really want to do is add value to other people's lives, but also, again, putting a spotlight on just local photographers who are...
Speaking of spotlights, you've got this guy in the bus over here.
And the guy just stepped that into the
He
spotlight.
just ducked back in when he heard us, I think.
He's like,
wasn't
damn
paid.
it, photographers, I'm going to go back inside.
He wasn't paid, so.
Not a paid actor.
No.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
fair
I hope
enough.
to get out of these videos, is adding value to people's lives and helping put your work in a bigger spotlight than it already is.
Yeah, fair enough. Sounds good.
Awesome. Any parting words, Tim? Any advice? Anything that's really helped you in your career so far in photography? Or
Sure.
anything that you feel like is a good piece of advice for people who are starting out, or people who might be going through a similar challenge?
So many questions.
So many.
I mean, follow me on Instagram, obviously. But, besides that, don't hesitate to reach out to people if you do have questions. I'm sure Human's more
Yeah.
than happy to answer them. I certainly am. Try and stay humble. Just keep
Absolutely.
doing your thing. Try and express yourself in a safe way, you know. Keep at it.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. That's good encouragement, and thank you for coming out, spending time with me this morning,
That's
and
been great.
walking the Sydney streets with me.
Happy to.
Thanks, man.